Welcome to Women's Rugby Rundown 231 for January 26th through February 1st. This week, we celebrated 20 years of YSC Rugby, marking 2 decades of dedicated coverage for the women's game. In international news, the Black Ferns dominated the Singapore Sevens to secure their third straight title at that stop, while the Wolfhounds became the first team to officially secure a Celtic Challenge playoff spot. We also celebrated a historic domestic milestone in Japan as Yokohama TKM claimed their first ever All-Japan Women's 15s championship. Finally, we look ahead to the landmark Anzac Day Test and marked the successful closing of the seed round for women's elite rugby in the United States. I'm Wendy, and for 20 years, we've been your dedicated home for the women's game. We've traveled around since 2006 from muddy club pitches to sold-out stadiums to document the evolution of this sport. We're celebrating this milestone by looking back at this journey and where it's brought us as we prepare for the next chapter of growth. Those videos will be coming over the next few months. We're so grateful for the community for joining us on this 2-decade march. This is Women's Rugby Rundown 231, and we're about to kick off. Let's start with international sevens news. The Black Ferns were unstoppable at Singapore Sevens, crushing Australia 36-7 in the final to secure their third consecutive title. This emotional victory was dedicated to victims of recent landslides in New Zealand, with players wearing black armbands in tribute. Canada also made a massive statement by clinching their first podium finish of the season, defeating the United States in a thrilling extra-time battle for bronze. The overall seven standings have seen a big shift after the action in Singapore. New Zealand officially moved into the top spot with 58 points, pulling ahead of Australia. The USA and Canada have surged into third and fourth, while teams like Fiji and Great Britain are currently fighting to avoid the relegation zone as the circuit prepares to head to Perth. Speaking of Perth, the pools were released after the conclusion of Singapore. Pool A will feature a heavyweight clash between Singapore champions New Zealand, USA, Fiji, and Japan. Meanwhile, Australia will be looking to bounce back in a very competitive Pool B that includes Canada, France, and Great Britain. Now let's hop over to international 15s news. Round 6 of the Celtic Challenge saw the Wolfhounds officially secure their playoff spot with a dominant 44-10 bonus point victory over Gwalia Lightning in Cork. This win was fueled by an early 3-try blitz and standout performance by Eve Higgins. The result makes the Wolfhounds the first team to mathematically guarantee a place in the inaugural semifinals. The Clovers moved into second place after a hard-fought 38-31 win against Glasgow, while Brighton Thunder finally ended their wait for a first win by grounding out a 14-7 victory over Edinburgh. These teams are all fighting for a place in the first ever Celtic Challenge final, which has been officially confirmed for March 28th at Hive Stadium, Edinburgh. The 2026 Pacific 4 Series schedule is sort of taking shape. It's this April featuring Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the United States. As we talked about last week, there is no specific organizing body for this tournament, so it is on the unions to make these announcements. We do have announcements for some matches. We know where the matches in Australia will be. There's 3 matches in the United States and 2 matches in Canada, so we're still waiting for those locations. This tournament features some of the top teams in the world and runs alongside the Women's Six Nations, and so we are looking forward to it, hoping that these unions can announce their venues soon. A historic fixture has been added to the 2026 calendar as the Wallaroos prepare to host the Black Ferns for an Anzac Day Test on April 25th. This landmark match at Sunshine Coast Stadium serves as both a Pacific 4 Series clash and the opening leg of the O'Reilly Cup. It marks the first time these rivals had met on the Day of Remembrance, highlighting a massive 10-test season for Australia. Asia Rugby has unveiled an ambitious 2026 competitions calendar, starting with 15s action in Kazakhstan this April. The schedule includes a landmark new competition in Sri Lanka this July, followed by the Asian Games in October. This announcement comes while Asia Rugby remains under provisional suspension from World Rugby due to ongoing governance and financial challenges. Wales are set for a high-profile away doubleheader against the Barbarians at Allianz Stadium on June 27th. This uncapped fixture serves as a vital warm-up for the squad before the WXV Global Series kicks off in September. The match is part of a massive weekend for sport in London, occurring just one day before the PWR final at the Stoop. Red Roses head coach John Mitchell has signed a long-term extension through the next World Cup cycle. Under Mitchell, England has achieved a world record 25-game winning streak and reached historic heights in the world rankings. Additionally, England legend Joe Yapp will return home in July to become the head of Women's Pathway, focusing on the RFU's Every Rose strategy. And now let's take a look at domestic and club news with a lot of leagues coming back from their winter break. Yokohama TKM made history in Tokyo by securing their first ever All-Japan Championship with a 21-12 win over the Artemis Stars. Captain Mo Nagaoka led her side to a clinical victory, cementing their status as the top club in Japan. The win followed an undefeated regular season in the Kanto tournament and a dominant performance in the semifinals. Women's Elite Rugby officially hit a major milestone this week by closing its seed round, marking a critical leap forward for the league's stability and long-term development. This successful round of investment ensures the organization is financially on track for its 2026 season, which is set to kick off on May 2nd, following a preseason in April. The funding round brought in some serious heavy hitters, including Carolina Soccer Ventures and GC Ventures, alongside new board leadership from Priya Oberoi. Most intriguingly, the investor group features a mystery Grammy award-winning artist whose identity is still under wraps. USA Club Rugby is reaching a fever pitch as regions prepare for the 2026 Super Regional Championships. We don't have all of the locations yet, but we have all of the dates. First up is the Pacific Super Regional, April 24th and 26th. The same weekend is the Gulf Coast Super Regional. That will be in Austin, Texas. Then it's the Atlantic Super Regional, May 2nd and 3rd at Niagara University in New York, and Northern Super Regional, May 2nd and 3rd. We expect all of these to be streamed, and so we'll try to keep up to date with those details as they're available. Round 9 of the PWR saw Gloucester Hartpury reclaim the top spot with a perfect 8-0 record. The weekend was filled with late drama as Harlequins snatched a last-play victory over Trailfinders, and Bristol won with an 80th minute penalty against Sale. Exeter also kept their top 4 hopes alive with a clinical 36-0 shutout of Leicester. In France, Stade Toulousain remains the undisputed leader of Elite 1 after edging out rivals ASM Romagna 23-17 in a round 9 thriller. The league now enters a brief hiatus until late February, with the Big Three firmly separated from the rest of the pack. The Nan Fung Group Women's Premiership in Hong Kong saw HKFC Nautixies Ice deliver a massive 79-0 shutout in round 11. Meanwhile, Society Generale Valley narrowly escaped an upset with a 14-12 comeback against the Tigers. These results have solidified the top 4 teams as they head into the final 3 weeks of the regular season. In Italy's Series A Elite, Valsugana extended their lead at the top with a massive 59-10 bonus point win over Milano. Villorba remains in second place after a gritty 20-10 victory over Colorno. Benetton also surged in the standings, reaching 30 points following a dominant 27-0 shutout of Torino. That does it for us. Of course, there's always more women's rugby news on our site at yscrugby.com. Never miss an episode of Women's Rugby Rundown. Listen to us where you get any of your podcasts from.